Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the FB4 Daily for this Tuesday night. This show, of course, is brought to you by Paddy Power. Paddy Power is a bookies, a website, and an app. If you gamble, please gamble responsibly and try to do so with Paddy Power. Odds on Liverpool, LFC Day Tripper specials on Liverpool, all other sports and everything else beyond that. Tonight's show, I have Damo Flood with me, and we are going to have a little chat around. I want Damo's little brief thoughts on the United game. I want to talk about Genk away, a couple of players missing there for us, maybe Salah coming back, and also the New Balance trial that ended today and should be sorted by Friday. Mad updates on that this evening, which have been supplied to me by Phil Casey. I will read through that at some stage here. Damo, good evening. How are you? And are you over that United performance yet?
Yeah, not too bad, pal. The performance was what it was. Just happy we come away with a point. I would have really been disappointed coming out of that game with a loss. But the way I've kind of been trying to cheer myself up thinking about it is by saying it's Man United away. It's always going to be tough regardless of what kind of way they're playing or what kind of condition they're in. And it was vice versa when they always came to Anfield, when they were at the top of their game. They always got a tough game off us. So, yeah, listen, we took a point out there. We're still 6 points clear. And there's not a whole lot of positives to take out of the game other than that we didn't lose it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm only asking you because I remember watching about 15 to 20 minutes into the game and I seen a message from you in the WhatsApp group and it basically said we're showing these idiots way too much fucking respect. Is it still something you believe? Even, 2 days later that we did show too much respect and we should have went out and stamped ourselves on them.
Yeah, I think we should have tried to grab that game with the scruff of the neck first 5 minutes and really got them and scared the shit out of them. We didn't. I think we tried to manage the game, and we were probably thinking let's manage the game for kind of until we picked them off and then they'll fall asunder, which was quite possibly what might have happened. But as soon as they got the goal, they had something to hold on to, something to defend, something to dig in against, and they made the game scrappy as fuck after that. And to get a draw out of it, because the longer that game went on, I couldn't see the scoring. Yeah, I think early on in the game, Firmino had a great chance and he sliced it off the outside of his boot. And I just turned to my son who was sitting beside me and I says, "It's going to be one of them days. I have a feeling." But I was sitting with a Man United supporter watching the game, and his fear was, because when I walked in, he says, "What do you think?" And I said, "I think it'll be a draw." And I think I said that in the WhatsApp group 2 weeks ago. I felt they'll just get something out of it, some kind of result. And I was sitting with the United fan, and he said, "Nah, you'll come at us now, 100 miles an hour for 15, 20 minutes and get one or two, and that'll be it." And I was disappointed to see that we didn't. Now, whether that was how they played, I don't think it was, because they weren't really at the races either the first 15, 20 minutes. They were probably the better side in terms of work rate and things like that, but we weren't really on it. We weren't really fancying it, I don't think. Not that I've seen us playing against other teams in the first 15, 20 minutes where we really have a go. You know?
Yeah, no.
So yeah, I do feel that way still. I do feel that we were thinking this is Man United. They probably do deserve a bit of respect, but they were there for the taking, and I think they were a kind of wounded animal that could have been put to the sword if we really were up for it. And I don't think we really went for the game until the last 15 minutes. And at that stage, then you could see that they were shitting themselves.
Yeah, I think another 10 minutes of that game, we probably would have won it. But as Stephen says there, we can't win every game. There's a guy on YouTube called Gaming with Grape Juice. I can't read that out every time, so I'm just going to call this fella Juice. Let's move on and deal with Spurs. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to the Spurs game, but the Genk game comes before that, so we'll have to wait and see. Chris Brack says, "Good evening," and Rodri has pinged his hamstring tonight against Atalanta. He'll be back in a week. I wouldn't worry about it. I think Dave's chats there says, "Hi Reds." Dave, how are you, my man? But look, I just wanted your brief thoughts on it because I haven't spoken to you properly since the game on Sunday. But look, we move on to the next. They're coming thick and fast, and I think when you get a draw like that, when you're expected to win, I think when the games, you don't have a week to hang over it. It's just 3 more days and we've another one. So Genk away tomorrow night. A 19-man squad has travelled. Trent Alexander-Arnold didn't travel due to a virus. Joe Matip, I don't think has travelled either. Salah has travelled. So it's one of those where, it's one of their. We're gonna have to mix it up a little bit. There's been talk of mixing it up in midfield a bit as well. Henderson's performance wasn't great at the weekend. Wijnaldum started well and kind of faded out. Fabinho, it's just Fabinho. It's grand. So we'll try pick a team. Let me try read this fella's name out. Is it Gabontwi? I'm gonna say Gabontwi is his name. He says, "Hello Gav, I've been a regular watcher, but I'm going to start commenting now, even when I have nothing to say. By the way, the G of my the G at the front of my name is silent, and the Twee is pronounced Chewy. Okay, so it's Gonchewy. I don't know. I don't even know making it up, but you're more than welcome to comment." Alan says, "Story Gav." Alan, how are you, my man? Chris says, if we beat Spurs and Villa, 7 points in 3 games would be very, very decent. And he also points out Joe Matip's recurrent knee injury. So, yeah, it could be just one of those where they're not going to risk him. But, Damo, looking at this game tomorrow night, it's the perceived weakest team in the group. I think that's very fair to say. There is going to be a cracking game between Napoli and Salzburg. 2 games over the next 2 weeks I think are going to be brilliant, or the next fortnight or whatever it is. But just looking at the team, first of all, in goal, Alisson comes back at the weekend, doesn't have much to do. You couldn't really rate his performance. He'd fuck all to do, Damo. But it's do you start with Alisson in goal again, or do you give Adrian that game? What do you think? Because people are going to have this conversation now because they have a lot of confidence in Adrian. Whereas years ago you'd be going, don't let that fucker near that goal. When it comes to where second goalkeepers. But do you think he just keeps bedding Alisson in?
Yeah, I think so, and I think that mostly boils down to the fact that Alisson's been out so long. I think he needs game time. I think if Alisson had been playing Premier League and Adrian had been coming in for the League Cup games and the Champions League games, then I think it would rotate that way again. But I think Alisson needs games. What's he played 1 game this season up until Sunday. He was injured the first game of the season.
Yeah, it was his first 90 minutes of the season.
Yeah, so he probably needs. Goalkeeping is a confidence thing. I know most goalkeepers are confident, but I think to get another 90 minutes under his belt, especially going into against Spurs, you want him sharp, you want him on his game. Another 90 minutes under his belt, probably a good thing to do. But listen, if he does decide to rotate him, I think Adrian will be fine in this game tomorrow. He's been fine for so far. When he's had to step in for Alisson, but I think he'll start Alisson. I think he'll get more game time.
Chris Brack reckons he could see Fabinho being rested. I'm not too sure unless he does something like Lovren and Gomez at the back, and then he can bring Milner probably in there. We'll have to wait and see. Ray Brady is on, and he just says Gavlar with loads of R's and loads of A's and stuff like that. Ray, how are you? I love you. You're one of my favourite Rays. Chris Brack has Alisson, Milner, Gomez, VVD, Robbo, Gini, Fabinho, Keita, Salah, Firmino, Mane. Maybe close enough to that, but I'll try pick a team with Damo as we go. Dave says Genk are Gank. We should be beating them home and away. I agree with you. We should be. Chris Brack thinks it'll be 2-0 to the Reds, Mane and VVD. We'll get to some predictions later on. I know that Keith is going to be on me after the game tomorrow night for a reaction. Red Emmett says Alisson needs a game time, only faced 32 possession on Sunday. Yeah, that's the worry. You see, it wasn't one where he was really worked, Damo. I can... You know what? If it was a game where if he hadn't have played on Sunday, I probably wouldn't have played him tomorrow. But because he played on Sunday, he's in a rhythm now. I think he has to stay in. So are we both agreeing Alisson in goal for the start?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think he's nailed on tomorrow. I think he needs the minutes.
Okay. So in the back four, Damo, you're looking at Robertson definitely starting and VVD definitely starting, okay? Matip, the whole right side of the defence, Matip and Trent Alexander-Arnold aren't available. Do you think he goes Lovren, Gomez?
Well, I think that's the likely choice. I'll be honest, I don't mind Lovren coming in there or Gomez as centre half. I would rather not see Gomez at right full up.
I agree.
I'd like to see something else. Gomez is a very good defender, but he's an awful right foot. He's not an awful right foot. He's an awful right foot in our team.
Correct.
And that's because he doesn't offer you what Robertson and Trent offer you.
It's because he's a centre half, Damo.
Yeah, it is. He doesn't want to go past the halfway line. He's not going to join in an attack. He's not going to offer you much. And that is a big part of our game, and it's a big part of how we play. And I think when he plays in that position, he stifles a little bit down the right. And I'd rather see us try something different in there. But I don't know. I honestly don't know how we could fit in there tomorrow. You can put Milner in, but I don't think he's going to offer you much more than Gomez.
I'll tell you what, let's have a little look at the midfield first. And if we can pick a midfield, we can probably solve the right back issue. All right. And then I know you're a close person, friend of Jurgen Klopp. You visit him at Melwood every so often and you tell him what to do. And he usually does it. I can't remember what game it was where you gave him advice and we went out and won. But which game was it?
Was that when he started Oxlade in, wasn't it?
It might have been. You told him to start him. Yeah. So there you go. Was it Burnley away? It might have been Burnley away. I'm not too sure. I can't remember. But I know you're a close person, friend of his. So in midfield, there was a lot of talk around Henderson at the weekend. He was poor. I'm going to say that. I'm a supporter of Henderson. I'm very open about it, simply because I think people underestimate the job he's doing to allow other players to play. A lot of people don't take that argument. They believe, no, he's your captain, he should be doing this, that, and the other. I argue that. But he was poor at the weekend. I think we shifted a couple of system changes, and I don't think they suited him, especially when he ended up being literally a right winger. But he was poor. He played a lot for England. He came back, maybe runs out a little bit of steam. And people seem to forget that this injury that he does have, that's ongoing and will be probably for the rest of his career, can affect him at times, with regards to fitness and durability and stuff like that. So I don't see Henderson playing, Damo. I
don't think so. I think he looked a bit puffy on Sunday. I thought he had a poor game. And again, we're going to put it this way: he's going to start against Spurs, and I'd rather have him with kind of a week's rest under his belt, than trying to squeeze him in the game against Genk. Especially when we have options there. There's players there that can play tomorrow night that should be able to win this game, and should be enough for us to win this game without having to squeeze him in tomorrow night. I think a week's rest will suit him because there's no two ways about it. He's going to start on Sunday against Spurs.
Yeah, you see, you have to look forward to games, don't you? I know we play Genk on Wednesday, tomorrow, and then we have 4 days later we Spurs at Anfield. So you do actually have to look game. I know it sounds stupid to say and a very obvious thing to say, but you actually do have to look forward to these games in advance, especially when you're coming up against Spurs. Then I think you're home to Arsenal in the League Cup, but you can nearly write off. You're away to Villa, then you've Genk again, then you've City. So you have to. I'm sure he's looking 3-4 games down the road and trying to fit things around him. The Trent Alexander-Arnold, the Matip thing won't help, but I think he'd be quite happy with who he has to put in there. So Henderson for you was not in there, okay? Fabinho for you, someone else said earlier, does he get a rest? I think Fabinho plays. That's the end of it.
I think he plays. I think he'll play 99% of the games that were out there, that be it Champions League or Premier League. I think he's nailed on to start. I think he's every bit as crucial to us now as Van Dijk is as centre back. If they're fit to play, and I don't see much wrestling going on. Like he's not the type of player. Like if you look at how we play in midfield, like Henderson, he does a lot more leg work than he had been doing when he was sitting in the six, and Wijnaldum does a lot of leg work as well. Where Fabinho, he doesn't do the kind of the box to box, breaking his bollocks, getting all over the park. His runs are mostly picking up areas that have spaces being left, and if Trent or Robbo have gone forward, he's protecting that back four, and he's protecting it well. So I think he's crucial to us, and I think the type of game that he plays, he's not overly stretched for a midfielder. He's not overly stretched for a midfielder, the type of game that he plays, because it's more protective type of game. So he's more filling in gaps, seeing holes that are appearing, and he's not going box to box and closing people down all the time. So the miles on the clock might be a little less for him.
Yeah.
There's probably someone pulling up stats now at the moment to say something.
No doubt about it, there is.
The contrary, there's someone in a box room somewhere googling stats. But no, I just feel that that's the type of player he is, that maybe the miles aren't on the clock as much as our other midfielders, the likes of Henderson and Wijnaldum will put in during the game. But I just think he is integral to how we play at the minute, and there's no getting away from it. That's my personal opinion. I think he's crucial to how we play as a team at the moment.
Yeah, it's you know, like Maverick makes a good point there, and you know it's actually against what I think, but it's a fair point. He says if we play Gomez or right back, we can be more aggressive in our attacking style in midfield, and can find a way to compensate for Trent Alexander-Arnold not being there. That's a very fair point. Although I'm completely and utterly against Gomez playing at right back because he's simply not a right back, and we have to stop trying to shoehorn him in there.
The problem is we actually have nobody else to kind of fill. In the Champions League squad, we've nobody else really to fill that void that Trent leaves.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough as well. Chris Brack has asked a couple of random questions. Chris, I'm going to give you the nod in about 10 minutes, and you can ask them again, and I'll try to get them out. Maverick says, I think Klopp and Cole look at 4-game blocks. I do as well. I think he's planning this right down to the Man City game, and then he's another international break that he has to, him and all of us have to fucking endure. But Damo, I'll put this midfield here, right? I'll put a midfield of I'm going to put Fabinho, Keita, Oxlade-Chamberlain in front of you. And the reason I do that is because as much as Henderson's played, I think Wijnaldum's played the same amount. And he carries Holland a lot more than Henderson carries England. And he started out well at Old Trafford, and I thought he drifted out of the game badly. So I'm going to give you that midfield three of Fabinho, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Keita, for the simple reason I would prefer Milner to go to right back.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with you on that. My midfield would have been Keita, Fabinho, and Milner myself, and I probably would have made done with Gomez being there. I think with Keita and Oxlade in that midfield, two of them might be guilty of emptying that a little bit too quickly early on for me. Like everyone's saying, Genk are whipping boys here, but like don't forget they've just drawn the law with Napoli, who turned us over. You know, so
they were fairly fortunate in that. Though the chances Napoli missed were fucking criminal, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah, you're probably right, but at the end of the day, they've still taken a drop, and that was away from home as well. I don't want to be complacent in this game. Like, there's 3 points there to be taken. The next 2 games in the Champions League in our group are crucial. We can put down a real marker here. We can have 9 points and let Napoli and Red Bull Salzburg cut each other's throats.
Yeah.
So don't want to be complacent at all here. So Milner's probably one that I would look at to go right full if rather than have Gomez in there. But I think he will go with Gomez purely again to get him more game time, get him as much game time as possible. I think Lovren will definitely play as well because he needs games.
Right.
So that's probably the reason why I think he'll go with Milner in the middle of the park, with Ox to come on for either him or Keita. Or it could actually be Ox starting and Keita could be the one to come on late. But I don't see both of them starting in the middle of the park together, Ox and Keita.
Yeah, no, look, it's a very fair point because Chris Brack says that midfield has never started together before. Concern is Keita and Ox still have injury concerns, could also leave Fabinho exposed away from home. I think the key is when Fabinho plays and the way he plays and the way we play, whoever plays on that right-hand side of the tree has to be extremely disciplined because even if Milner plays right back for argument's sake, Milner's going to push on and try, literally be some sort of Trent Alexander-Arnold in the way he plays, in the purpose which he tries to play. But the key is that he leaves Salah up, and the person on the right hand side of that tree has to be there all the time as nearly a cover, and you're left with 2 in midfield in the centre midfield a lot. And it might be a fair point to say Gomez or right back, although I'm completely against it, and put Milner into that kind of Henderson role where he's covering all the time and snapping in on the right hand side to cover and let Salah cheat the position, as I call it. So it's one of those. Yeah, it's I think he could go Fabinho, Milner, Keita. I just want to see Keita start the game.
Yeah, so do I.
And the reason for that is I think it might have been Steve Brown on Twitter last night. He was saying that good kind of performance from Keita when he come on. He wants to see more. I think it was Steve, and I made the point that seem to be bringing him back a lot slower than he did in previous occasions. You know what I mean? So It may be something where he gets another half an hour here and they're building him up, but I think I'd love to see him. I think in a game where they'll sit back, I think Keita could be really, really good. So are we switching now? Are we going Firmino, Milner, Keita?
Yeah, I think Firmino, Milner, and Keita start.
Okay.
And if it's not Keita, it'll be Ox. But I think Milner and Firmino start.
Okay. Front three. Are you going to go with the normal three lads, presuming Salah is okay to go?
I'd rather see us probably start again what we went with Sunday. And just give Salah, bring him off and let him ease himself into the game. Hopefully the game's, we've enough in the locker to beat these without Salah, and he can kind of ease himself back in and get 40 minutes under his belt. With Spurs on Sunday again, he's coming back off an injury. I wouldn't mind kind of letting this game play out, see how it goes, without risking him, to be honest with you.
I'd like to see him for 20 at the end, regardless.
Yeah, I think so. That's what I was just saying. Maybe a little blowout just at the end, and just getting back into the game. But here's a mad shout. What about starting Elliott right side?
He's still banned, isn't he?
He's still banned, is he?
Yeah, I don't know whether that ban is domestic or whether it's just a complete 2-week ban, because I know he's just back in time for the Arsenal League Cup game. But did he travel?
I don't know.
I'd have to go back and look. If anyone can show me the 19-man squad and tell me if Elliott travelled, I'm not too sure he did. I know Brewster did. I'm wondering. I am genuinely wondering whether he might do something with Brewster up front, because Salah doesn't make Sunday, and if he doesn't make Sunday, he's not fit to play. I don't know how he turns around to Wednesday and starts. You know, the kind of way. Unless he was right on the edge and he just said, no, leave it. You know, the kind of way. But I'm wondering, could he do something? I'm wondering, could he kind of change the system a little bit? Maybe even go like a 4-2-2-2 like they've done before, where you could play a Fabinho and a Keita, and you could end up playing Oxlade-Chamberlain right, and you could play Mane right, Origi left, and put Brewster up front with Firmino. I'm wondering, could he do something mad like that? But I think Salah the last 20 was fine. So between me and you, we'll be going with the three that started on Sunday.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, you'd be very surprised to see anything else there. I think it's probably possibly nailed on. I think the three of them starting.
Okay. Chris Brack has informed me that Elliott did not travel. Let me see. Maverick is saying he has a back four of Robertson, Van Dijk, Lovren and Gomez. I think that's what we've gone with as well. I'm not in 100% support of that, but it's something I'll go with. I've been overruled by Damo and the people watching this. So the team we're going with, Damo, is Alisson, Gomez, Lovren, Van Dijk, Robertson, Fabinho, Milner, Keita, and Origi, Mane, Firmino.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, and I wouldn't mind seeing Salah in the last 20, and I wouldn't mind seeing Brewster get 15, 20.
Yeah,
you know.
But you know what? When you look at that on paper, you're kind of. Now I'm looking at it, I'm saying that's too easy of a team to pick, and I'm thinking, is Klopp going to do something mad somewhere and maybe throw one or two curveballs in here that we're not expecting?
Yeah, well, if they're going to sit back, he could go like a 4-1, 4-1. You know, it all depends what they come out and do. Like if they come out and try attack us, we'll sit with our 4-3-3 and murder them on the break if we want to. You know what I mean? Chris Brack wants to go 3-4-3. I can't see that happening, but he might look at it and say, do you know what? I'll stick Milner and Fabinho. I'll stick them two in the middle of the park. You know, I'll let Gomez try to get forward. Robertson will as well. The two centre backs are there, and we literally get 6 players on the pitch, 2 full backs and 4 attackers. You know what I mean? Yeah. And go somewhere like that. A lot of people there are saying that they'd like to see Origi start through the middle. I'm not overly against that. Although I would have loved, if you're going to try that, I would have loved if Trent was available, because you could have pushed Trent and Robertson up. You could have had Firmino and Salah, or Firmino and Mane playing as number 10s nearly together, and Origi right up top on his own. But it's one of those. But I think we'd be close enough with that team, unless he throws, like you said, a couple of curveballs in. So Damo, give Go on.
Like, sir, like we haven't spoke about, like, I think he went for Lallana, one of his 4 subs there on Sunday, didn't he? Like,
Yeah.
Lallana's available there, and he hasn't even come in for a reckoning. You know what I mean? So now I'm not a fan of Lallana, but if he's available, there's a good chance he could be one of the core balls that go in there. You know?
Yeah, he could go with Lallana up front instead of Origi, and he could play Firmino up top and Mane off the right. Do you know what I mean? I think that's there could be one or two, but I don't think we'd be too far off. Kev O'Sullivan says Milner, Lovren, Van Dijk, Robbo, Fabinho, Naby, Ox, Lallana, Mane and Bobby in a 4-4-2. Chris would like to see Origi on the right as a different option to see if it works. There's plenty of options there, but going by what I've seen at the Napoli Genk game, and Genk were at home, I just think they will sit back. They'll try soak up pressure. So it will be about one being very disciplined when it comes to the 2 centre halves and the lad in the middle of midfield particularly, and then up front and around their box, we're going to have to be creative. You're going to have to try to get Firmino on it, Mane on it, and if Keita plays, they're probably the 3 that you can open you up the most over attacking / midfield players, you know, that way. So we'll have to wait and see. Maverick says this will be a test of how Klopp has improved in implementing plans B and C, etc. Yeah, it absolutely will. Chris wants to keep Mane left and Bobby central. We'll have to wait and see. Give me a prediction on it, Damo.
I think we win it, and we'll probably win 2 or 3-1.
Okay, 3-1 was my one as well. I had 3-1 at United on Sunday. Very disappointed not to do that. Our bets didn't come in either. So Stephen, that's on this show, is not allowed to type in cap letters anymore, and he's not allowed to tell me that it's going to be 4-1 anymore. That was the deal we done on the bets. They didn't come in, but I think we have another free bet for tomorrow night. So I'll put that out to Twitter tomorrow, and I'll get a couple of suggestions and stick them on Twitter so everyone can see them for the match tomorrow night. Now, Damo, the last not the last thing we're going to get to, but probably the last serious thing we're going to get to is the New Balance court update and trial and different things. Now, you did say to me before we come on, Gav, I know they're in court. I know that, I know there's something going on. I know that they're contesting stuff, but I haven't really followed it. And that's extremely honest of you. Luckily enough, our local investigator, Phil Casey, who loves stuff like this, has given me a big update on it all. And he's given me some quotes. He's given me some stuff that's gone on in the trial. He's given me some of his thoughts. So I'll read them out and I'll let you see what you think, right? I will start this by saying it looks like New Balance are going to get the decision on this, and we're going to have to continue with them. Now, I was talking to a few people today. They said, yeah, New Balance may get the decision, but Nike will end up paying them a load of money to piss off then. You know, that kind of way. But look, basically, here's a couple of things I'll read out for you, Damo, right, just to bring you up to speed. So, as anyone that doesn't know what's going on here, New Balance, obviously the sponsors of Liverpool Football Club for shorts and merchandise and stuff like that. Liverpool have decided to go with Nike. Nike are offering somewhere in the region of £29 million per year as a base level, and I think it's something like 20% of all merchandise, 20% of all profit on merchandise, basically. So the tally they're coming to on roundabout figures, you're probably looking between 70 and 90 million pounds a year. Okay, New Balance currently pays somewhere in the region of 35 million pounds plus. I think that's it. That's a flat rate, and Liverpool were going with Nike. Thought it was all done and dusted. New Balance came back in and says, no, we have a clause here that says if we match the offer. So they've matched the 29 million offer. And the argument around this is now, well, hold on. You're not really matching the offer because we're offering X, Y, and Z. And New Balance are saying, well, that's not real figures. You know what I mean? The only figure on the table is 29 million. Kev O'Sullivan says, Molly was tweeting that it's looking like New Balance win, but the judgment will be complicated. Yeah, so basically, here's stuff that's gone on, right? So, Judge Tier asks why New Balance did not match the wording of the marketing clause in Nike's offer. This is all down to, 20% of this, and they'll have, I don't know, Michael Jordan or whoever doing all this sort of stuff, right? So Mr. Oldkirk says he does not accept that New Balance did not match it. He's saying we didn't match the offer. We don't have to word it exactly. He says the only words that are missing from the New Balance offer are of no less than the caliber of LeBron James, Drake, and Serena Williams. It does offer 3 non-football global superstar athletes and influencers. We don't accept we haven't matched that clause. Judge Tier says the words global superstar suggest you are looking high up that list. Okay, so basically Phil is telling me that New Balance have matched the Nike and argued it can match the doors clause. Okay, the doors clause is basically how many outlets you can get Liverpool's merchandise into, Damo, all right?
Yeah.
So, as Phil is telling me here, New Balance has matched Nike and argued it can match the doors clause, and that Nike cannot deliver 6,000 doors, as they claim, 6,000 outlets worldwide where Liverpool merchandise will be sold. Okay, the judge is positioning himself in favour of New Balance, according to Phil. He says the only question is whether one can say calibre is measurable, and that's where New Balance are saying you can't measure this stuff. The number is 29 million, and we're matching it. They're being very cute in what he said, and Liverpool look like they may have fucked up here. You know what I mean? So it goes on, and there's bits and pieces going on. What else goes on there? He's going on about different parties and stuff like that. Basically, Phil comes to the end of it, and Judge Tier suggests he would have no difficulty enforcing the order to court to make Liverpool. The court makes if Liverpool were to lose, basically saying he'd have no problem making Liverpool stick to an agreement with New Balance. Okay, and Phil reckons this is damning on LFC and their QC. So basically, what's happening, Damo, is Damo, is that Liverpool were looking at 29 million quid as a base level, 20% of all profit, and the suggested amount was you're probably looking at around 55 to 60 million on top of that as a ballpark. So you're probably looking at 80 million, 80 to 90 million. That's the number they're coming up with. And New Balance are basically saying, well, no, 29 million is the only number and we're matching it. Everything else after that is not quantifiable. Damo, we could lose out big time on this.
Yeah, it doesn't sound good on when it's spoken about that way. Yeah, like I'm trying to get my head around it here now, and other than that absolute massive head, so it's going to take a bit of work. It's look, I can't understand how a judge can rule that way. Like, I know this isn't nailed on. Like, I work in a sales environment and the whole lot.
Yeah.
And I know that there's all these laws, especially with multinational sales and things like that, where there's the ethics and there's certain laws that you have to work to. And as far as I'm concerned, like in an open tender, Nike have obviously had an open tender to bid for this. New Balance have had something equal, and Nike have offered a better deal for Liverpool.
Yeah,
I don't see how New Balance.
Nike have offered what you would consider to be a better offer, okay? But at the end of the day, the way this is being written up is that Nike are offering £29 million per year as a base amount, okay? All right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, they're going to use their influencers like Serena Williams or LeBron James or whoever else I've listed off there. All these people that use Nike, okay? Yeah. Air Jordan, all this sort of stuff, right? So what they're saying is that we're able to go and put you into 6,000 outlets worldwide, okay, where we will sell merchandise ranging from jerseys, training tops, shorts, socks, everything with the LFC and the Liver board on it, okay? Yeah. We're going to make it a massive brand. It is already a massive brand, but we're really going to push it. And they reckon they can come in at 20%, somewhere in the region of 50 to 60 million pounds a year as a bonus for sales, 20% sales, okay? The argument New Balance are given is that, hold on, we have a clause here. We have a matching clause. Basically what that means is whatever money is put on the table, okay? Yeah. Okay? Whatever money is put on the table, we have to match that. And their argument is the only money on the table is £29 million. And they're matching it. Like Phil there says, New Balance matching terms, Gav, is key. That's the actual key. And as Phil said to me last night, Gav, we can wander around here talking about Serena Williams and doors and outlets and the amount we sell and how much we get. He said at the end of the day, in black and white terms, they have matched. Yeah. They have a matching clause.
And is it written in their contract now at the moment that if they were matching whoever the competitive bidder was this time around, that they naturally get the tender or get the contract? If we don't,
it's in the contract. So what happened was Liverpool were approached by Nike. Nike put this deal on the table, and Liverpool told New Balance, we won't be renewing at the end of the season. We've decided to go with Nike. Okay, New Balance turned around and said, well, hold on. we have a clause there that if we match what Nike are offering, you have to stay with us.
Okay,
All right.
that's fair.
So now, don't get me wrong. The Nike deal is worth a lot more money than New Balance, because if New Balance give them 29 million plus 20%, the 20% is not going to be anywhere near what Nike sell. It's just not. Okay, so even if New Balance were to come in with another 25 on top of that, you're looking at 54 million pounds. Okay, and it's Nike is worth way more than that. It's probably, I reckon it could be worth between, I would say, 75 to 90 million. You know, if you're asking me, can Nike make a profit of 300 million a year off Liverpool, and they're selling it fucking everywhere? I think you can. 20% of that, 60 million, on top of 29 is 89. You know what I mean? If anyone can do it, Nike can. You know what I mean? Maverick says the relationship with Liverpool is done. However, Liverpool's lawyer should have tried to resolve the issue before it got to court. That is a brilliant point, because I think what's happening now is the judge is looking, going, could this not have been sorted? Now I'm going to have to go with a letter of the law. Now, a lot of people feel that when they come out of it, Nike will probably offer 50 million and say to New Balance, go, listen, there's compensation, 50 million, and walk away.
Yeah, 100% hear what the lads are saying there, but like, doesn't this just show how far we've come as a club in a short period of time, that we have these two global brands absolutely fighting tooth and nail to get us on board with them, and they're throwing money at us left, right, and centre. The one thing I will say is, I don't know if it's the club have done it or if it's been part of the New Balance. Like, I'm going to say the New Balance stuff has been really, really good. I thought the quality of kit has been quality, and the tracksuits and all the merchandise around it has been very, very good. But I was actually down in Liffey Valley the other day, and I was in the pop-up Liverpool shop, and I remember a couple of years ago trying to get kit, like a tracksuit or whatever, and you couldn't get it for love nor money. Like, or you might get a tracksuit, but then you go into the shop and they won't have your size, or vice versa, and things like that. At the moment, the club is absolutely flying. I was in there the other day. The shop was rammed, and like, that's, I believe they've opened one now in Blanchardstown, pop up as well. They've one in town. The 3 shops. People
that are listening that aren't from Ireland, they're probably the 3 biggest shopping centres in Dublin City. That's what he's talking about.
And like, they're what, with 20-minute drive from each other?
Yeah.
That they're on top of each other?
Yeah.
But like, then you look on top of it, Nike have had Man United when they were a global brand, superstar brand. Don't see much stuff in the shops. I never really did. They had a rail in the shop, but there was never really the level of marketing of their kit and their gear, especially in Ireland. Now, it could have been better in England, but I never really was blown away in the shops by the amount of Man United merchandise that was in the shop.
Yeah,
and
but the thing with this one, Damo, is that if they do get this, if Nike do get this, they're going to, as Phil said to me last night, they're going to turn the liveaboard, all right, and LFC into, basically, do you see the way Paris Saint-Germain are walking around with, you know, Air Jordan on their jerseys instead of Nike? They're going to turn it into this big thing, you know. Phil has come in to say Dundrum is the biggest. It's not. It's not the biggest. Blanchardstown is the biggest shopping centre in Dublin, and I know that. It's a fact. I've measured them all. But you know what? It's just New Balance. Liverpool have made a mistake here. You know, Liverpool have made a mistake, and you see, if they'd have been cute, they could have said to Nike, "Look, 29 million, and instead of give us 55 and 10%, and we get to 90." You know what I mean? Something along them lines. And then go to New Balance, go, no, you owe 55 now if you want to be on the table. But they've made a mess. They've actually gone lower than what New Balance are paying now.
With the clause being there, somebody in the lawyers for Liverpool should have been aware of that clause from the get-go.
Oh, they were very aware of the clause.
Yeah, I know, but like, the problem was they spoke to Nike and then went back to New Balance and saying, we're not renewing it with you. Where if you're aware this clause is in there, you say, fuck all, you let the thing go out, you say, we're going out now to an open tender. They're going to bid on it.
Oh yeah, but Damo, they couldn't.
You don't get a chance then to kind of say, you put your bid in and you've lost your bid. You don't get a chance to come back and say, oh well, what price was he in at? I'll match him. Like that's against business.
Yeah, but no. If it was an open tender, it's grand. Nike will just come in and blow them out of the water, and you. But
that's what we should have waited.
And you can pick whatever, but they couldn't. You see, because The end of the
that cost.
contract. What happened was at the end of the contract, New Balance have Liverpool can't go anywhere unless they can find somebody that New Balance can't match. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So it's not a case of running down the contract. They can run down the contract all they want, but
And
if
then
they,
that was a poor contract from Liverpool.
yeah, it's a poor. It wasn't a poor contract. It's probably a stand. It could be a standard thing in sport, but doing a deal with Nike for so low and thinking it would go through would probably be a mistake. But look, we'll wait on Friday. A lot of people feel that New Balance will get the decision on Friday, but a lot of people also think that an out-of-court settlement will come about between Nike and New Balance, and all will be sorted in the end. But we'll have to wait and see. If anyone has any random questions before we go, I think Chris had one. He said, "What's your favourite fish to eat?" What's your favourite fish to eat, Damo?
Hake.
Hake.
Hake, yeah. Beautiful fish.
You weren't brought up on bleeding hake.
Hake. Lovely. Had it down in Dunmore East, straight off the boat. Absolutely beautiful fish. So yeah, try it if you ever get a chance. And hake is on the menu. Order hake. Beautiful.
Okay. It's smoked cod for me. Just no messing, Damo. Fuck you and your hake. Phil says we got 45 million a season off New Balance based on that clause when we were out there shy. Yeah, but
that's a good point, Phil. Yeah, and you're right there.
Yeah, but like Maverick says, Gav spot on. Liverpool lawyers should have been more aware and better strategy to ensure that he could avoid being tied into the clause. They should have been more cute. I think they just thought, like somebody says there, Kev O'Sullivan says, they didn't anticipate the judge not taking future projections into account. Bear in mind where we were a decade ago. We needed that clause then, not so much now. Yeah, that's absolutely fair enough. You know what I mean? But the future projections is a massive thing. I think it's absolutely a massive thing. The judge is just basically going, no. There's the money on the table. They're matching it. I think New Balance will get the deal over the line on Friday. And but I do have a feeling Liverpool and Nike will just say, look, we're paying you this, go away. And I think that's what will happen. And probably what should have been done in the first place. You know what I mean?
Well, speaking of the figures I'm talking about there, about 20% being what, 50, 60 million, 20%. I think it's about time John Henry set up his own sweatshop and started making his own kits and selling them and just keeping the profits from all the kits themselves.
I don't think we're allowed to say that, Damo.
So that's a better way of doing it.
Yeah, well, listen, I can't endorse that, Damo, all right? I know you can, but I can't. But look, yeah, that's about it. We've gone through Genk. We've had a look at United. We've had a look at courts in England, New Balance, Nike. We've given our favourite fish for some reason or other. But that's about it for tonight. I will be back tomorrow at 10 p.m. Myself and Keith will be here with reaction to the game against Genk. Join us then. It's been a good show. I have a competition coming up for the month of November, and I'm going to have a prize for subscribers as we stand now on YouTube, and I'm going to have a prize for new subscribers come the end of November on YouTube. So stay tuned for that over the next couple of days. I'll let you know what's going on there. But that's been the Fatback 4 Daily. Damo, thanks a million for joining us.
No bother. And make sure to get on the hake.
Oh, yeah, the hake, yeah. No, it's not fucking happening. I'm not buying hake. That's it. We're out. Good luck.